Take it from the Ein Woman. Today is first and a total honor that we have 6 voices, 1 mission, how to elevate your life. You will hear from 6 coaches. Welcome to these special episodes. We all met at the ICF New York City Coach Cafe in the summer. You can hear what is happening when you have a virtual coffee meeting with like-minded people. We are here to create exposure for opportunities to share our knowledge and beyond. We are all ready to support your goals and your growth. My name is Suzanne Mueller. I'm your host, and I will lead this conversation. But let's hear from the 6 different coaches, who they are and what they're offering.
My name is Yayoi Kumiyama. I'm the owner of Brain to Belly Coaching, and like the name says, I work on changing people's relationship with food from chaotic and messy to peaceful and balanced, and I do that through rewiring your brain. So changing your mindset and creating a newer identity for yourself. And I'm very passionate about that, if you haven't noticed. It's something that is very dear to my heart. That's what I do. I'm also one of the co-hosts of the Evening Coach Cafe, where all of us met.
My name is Andrew O'Brien, and as someone who has struggled many years with managing, I actually call it mastering, my own stress and burnout. I'm a stress and burnout coach. I work with people one-on-one in supporting them living without burnout so they can live with more purpose, so they can live with more peace and prosperity. I also offer speaking engagements for different organizations. If an organization is looking to support their employee population, we provide all sorts of different workshops.
Qingao, it's wonderful to gather together. Coach, trainer, and speaker. My specialty is career and leadership development for people in academia. That includes graduate students, professors, researchers, and higher education administrators. I'm also a professor of social policy and social work, and also associate dean for doctoral education at Columbia University. I hold a PhD in social work and also is a member of the ICF New York City chapter. So happy to be here.
My name is Dr. Matthew Pearson. My purpose is to coach. I'm a master certified coach, a certified mentor coach, a certified link personality profiler. I provide personal, professional, and leadership coaching and mentor coaching. I am and have had the privilege of being the co-host of the ICF NYC chapter's Building Business Coach Cafe for over 5 years. I regularly volunteer at ICF NYC chapter events as well as ICF global events. I had the privilege over the course of the last year of co-authoring a chapter on coaching presence in the forthcoming ICF Coach Book of Knowledge.
My name is Dr. Carlin Padmore-Ghetto. I'm a veteran educator of over 31 years in the New York City Department of Education. I coach school leaders and their teams. I help them to build the systems and structures within a school. I also provide individual coaching. I work with leaders one-to-one. I help them to refine their vision, to build resilience, to lead authentically. I provide authentic coaching, and I take on a holistic approach of coaching the entire person. The systems and structures that I've supported them with and helped them to build, and I'm a thought partner in that process, has helped them to thrive as leaders and has helped them to sustain and stay longer in the system. My experience of over 3 decades is amazing, and I bring so much to the table. My goal is to partner with school leaders and community to help them grow.
Now, as a host, I'm also a coach. My name is Suzanne Mueller. Obviously, you have heard my voice many times, more than 500 times. This is how many episodes we have. But when I'm coaching, I come from sales and marketing. I used to work for the airline. My first job was working at the lost and found department. And when you think you are helping people how to find their luggage, this is a lot of coaching. We're helping them, we're supporting them through difficult times. And that's how I see the coaching. I've coached people from around the globe, probably from 60 different cultures. I'm originally from Switzerland, and I've also worked for the Swiss mission to the United Nations, followed by the Nestle Corporation as the Human Resources Development Manager. What brings me to coaching is I lost my job. They eliminated my job. And thankfully, my then boss said, "Oh, you should be a coach." This is how my journey started. And I'm really grateful that I was able to do that. I focus on leaders who have a positive mindset. And I'm also running coach. I've done marathon races, triathlon, and lately caving. So whoever is in the sports world and in the business world, they see those different methodologies that can come in handy. It's about endurance, it's about discipline, and it's also about supporting. And now I want to give the mic to my colleagues, the 6 voices that we have here. What brings joy to you when you think of coaching? What brings joy to you when you are coaching your clients?
Well, for me, since I do basically wellness and health and weight health, it's when they click up here because a diet's a diet. Food is food. And you can watch what you're eating. But if you don't get the identity right of who you are or who you want to become, a healthy human being, then no matter what diet you do, you're going to go back to what you do. So what gives me joy is when that person finds that newer identity and embraces it and truly embodies it.
My joy when I'm coaching, I call this an insane privilege to be in this seat. And when we have clients or when I have clients working with me, I see humanity at its finest. When my clients come to me, generally speaking, they are feeling it, that they're kind of stressed and burned out. That's not a fun place to be. But through the work that we do together, when they have that aha moment in that brain to kind of think differently, to go down a different path, to explore a different path, may not work at the end of the day, but their hunger to figure this out, to put this puzzle together, the privilege that I feel and the humanity that I experience, that is my joy when I coach.
When I coach, when people have a breakthrough, when they find their voice, find their agency, that just gives me so much joy and gratification. I work with a lot of academics who often are brilliant, but they have so much self-doubt, insecurity. Academia could be hierarchical, so people feel insecure. But in these coaching sessions, whether it's individual or in group settings, we support each other, we really affirm each other. And then they realize they have agency. They could use their voice, use their positions to change the narrative, to advance agenda. That is so powerful. That gives me so much joy.
Before I answer this question, I would just like to surface, this is one of my favorite questions. And I would say that I begin 80% of my coaching sessions with that question. What's bringing you joy, or what's bringing you joy right now? And the reason that I appreciate the question so much is because it's an instant positive emotion. And that brings me to what brings me joy as a coach. The social scientist and researcher and psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi wrote about the flow state. And when I am coaching, I am in a flow state. When I'm mentor coaching, I am in a mentor coach's flow state. For those of us who might be listening who are uncertain what flow state is, in simple terms, it's truly the loss of the spatial temporal reality around us. Time doesn't matter as much, if at all. Whether or not I'm hungry, I don't even notice. It's gone because I'm in the flow state. And that brings me, Chin, you said it, and Yayoi and Andrew also said it. The reason for that is the results that I see and experience both in the coaching session and beyond it from my clients. So while I'm experiencing the joy, the flow state as a coach and a mentor coach, when my clients come, they have the aha in the moment and then they act upon it well after the coaching session, but moves them to who they want to be. That's actually contributing to my flow state, even though I'm not with them when the action is taken.
What brings me joy as a coach is when a client is at a point where they embrace the challenges that come, because we all have them. I was a principal. I had my challenges, and I'm able to have those conversations with them, be a thought partner with them, and show that understanding, be that listener. So when they get to the point where they're learning ways to embrace the challenges, coming up with steps on their own, starting to coach themselves through the process, that brings me joy. They can then apply those strategies to all situations that they may encounter in their school community, with their supervisors, with their vision, and sustain and stay in the system, because it will ultimately help the children. When a school leader can take on those challenges and own them and work through it for themselves, that brings me joy.
When I see my clients, their eyes lit up, they're speechless in a way. It's their own awakening. And as a coach, we know people come to us, they're whole, they have the answers in themselves. As a coach, we're here to awaken their possibilities, their strengths, and actually, to Matthew's point, to create that flow. I remember Andrew at one point told us coaching is also a partnership. So the person comes to us, they give 100%, but we as coaches, we're also their partner and we're giving 100%. So if we're on the same level, that really brings me joy. And I just want to intersprinkle a question like, what is the most frustrating part of the coaching? And I can lead with this: when people cancel 5 minutes before the session.
Well, as coaches, we have to be able to embrace change. We have to be able to know that perhaps the client wasn't ready. We don't want a client to take on a session that they're not ready to really open up to. So then that gives us a chance to reflect, to refine our practice, to work on ourselves. Perhaps, maybe we have another client that we can meet with, but we have to embrace that challenge. But those things are going to happen.
For me, the frustration is when my clients struggle to overcome I'll call it limiting belief. In my experience, most of my clients struggle to overcome that. It can show up in a whole bunch of different ways. I don't have the confidence. Often the phrase, yeah, but precedes the client shifting into a state of inaction or inertia. And my frustration is not with the client, it's with me, because there's something that I wasn't able to do with, Andrew, to your point about partnership, to do with my client to surface what Dr. Carlin was just talking about. They have agency and they can accomplish whatever it is they want to accomplish. The frustration is with me, not with the client. Things are going to happen. It's my role as coach to support and partner my client through those things when they happen so they can become who they want to be.
I appreciate your question. Thank you for the question, Suzanne. It's a wonderful one. I've been reflecting on my coaching practice, both individually and also for group coaching. Honestly, I have not had a frustrating situation. It's my growth as a coach. I'm patient. I know change is hard. And I know people need to follow their own pace to come to clarity, to even to reach the point of hope. So I'm okay. I believe if the client in front of me is my world, so I'm going to give it all. And then afterwards, I let go until the next session. I'm okay with that.
I'm really aligned with Matthew here. If and when I do experience frustration, it's really all on me, because I find that maybe that was like a missed opportunity. I'm always committed to my own learning and growth as a coach. Even though if it's not on me, at least I kind of like evaluate and assess and kind of like check things out from that perspective. It's frustrating when that it's possible for the other person, and then the other person is, whatever the case may be, not moving forward in the way that they want to move forward. That's when we have to toe the line as coaches, because obviously we can't get in there and say, here's exactly what you need to do. But it does come back to me as the coach. The frustrating part is with me and maybe my limited ability. That's why I am super invested in my learning and growth as a coach. That's why I'm super invested in getting as much experience as possible, because we are all so different. I've been doing this for like almost 4 years now, hundreds of clients, that there hasn't been one identical roadmap person to person. And that's how beautiful this whole experience is. But yeah, there are times where you do feel that, or well, I feel that frustration, and then use those as opportunities to keep building, keep learning, keep growing. And at the end of the day, maybe I can't do anything different. I would do myself a disservice if I wasn't checking into that a bit.
Thank you for that question. It's a tough question, but I align with pretty much what everyone says, that it is on. I get frustrated with myself because the client is frustrated. So they have a limiting belief that I can't squash for them, that I can't find a way to squash for them. That's frustrating for me because I'm watching this and I'm like, oh, I want to squash it. As a coach, you can't do that. But then as a coach, what can I ask them to help them see it from a different perspective? And that becomes more frustrating for me, that I can't, it's my growth, that I'm not tuning into them enough to find that perfect question that's going to turn it around for them. That would be my frustration, that I can't find that question to create that aha moment for them.
What do you do when you don't coach?
I do lots of different things. I'm a dog lover. So I have a fur baby who I like absolutely adore. My time with her is very, very precious and it's sacred to me. That is one thing I do. Another thing is I am a huge animation, science fiction, and manga person. Every year, once a year, in October, I have the New York ComicCon. I go to all 4 days, and that's my thing. That's what I do when I'm not coaching.
And people know here, I'm traveling the globe. I'm a huge traveler. I love it. I love exposing and immersing myself into different cultures around the planet. I've been to all 7 continents. I literally just reached my goal of visiting 50 UN countries by the time I turned 50, 2.5 years in advance. Thank you very much. And I plan to keep on going. I do want to see the entire planet before I die. That's basically like the next goal. I also scuba dive. I'm a big scuba diver. One of the reasons I've met a lot of divers over the years, and I always ask the question, what brought you to diving and what keeps you in diving? And like, there's a common thread of the answer. It's just like completely meditative. Like, what, I don't know if there's any divers listening to this podcast right now, but if you are a diver, when you are down below, all you are doing is focusing on your breathing. All you are doing is listening to your breath going in the regulator, out of, and that is just, it keeps you present, and it keeps you like just completely tuned into the underwater world. And then the above world just goes away. You don't think about anything on the above world. It's a beautiful experience. And of course, seeing the marine life at the same time. And I always have to say, just, I'm obsessed with anything Kelly Clarkson, whether it's her talk show, whether it's her singing, anything that she does, she can do no wrong by my book.
When I'm not coaching, I explore New York City. I love this great city. I came to New York from China 24 years ago. I fell in love with the city right away. I remember, some of you may remember the Gates exhibit in Central Park. Wow, I was blown away. I thought, just walking through the park with those exhibit, I thought, I belong to this place. All these people around me coming from all around the world, speaking all different languages with all kinds of accents, like our gathering today. I felt I belonged to this place, and I have never left. On weekends, I hang out, explore different corners of New York City, the Little Island, the Cloisters. Staten Island Ferry is one of my favorites. I take my son and we ride it, and then we ride it back. It's just amazing.
I too love New York City. And I'm going to answer this a little bit personally first. I have a pretty significant physical challenge on a couple of levels. My hands and my feet are those specific levels. And I have spent now the last couple of years trying to rebuild my stamina after a second reconstruction. So now I do something that this answer would have been totally different 2 years ago. I walk 6,000 steps a day, and I walk those 6,000 steps almost every day. And Jen, I really admire your spirit to go to the corners of New York. And I too love the Staten Island Ferry. I remember when it took cars. I walk mostly in my neighborhood, and my neighborhood is Washington Heights. It's becoming one of the more diverse neighborhoods in all of New York City as it changed, the demographics have changed here, and I love it. And when I'm not working, I am just out walking and talking to anybody who will say hello to me because I just enjoy people so much and I enjoy the neighborhood and being in the city. And I'm rebuilding my strength. That really feels wonderful.
And we see some love hearts going up in the Zoom conversation. So this is certainly something that everybody enjoys.
Matt, you're taking me there. New York City. So I'm not coaching. I'm enjoying New York City with my children, my family. Particularly, we love to go out and eat. My daughter is developing into this foodie. We go to beautiful restaurants. At times where I'm just thinking, let's go get something regular, get takeout.